We're going to talk today about the cycle of disappointment. So there are three worlds, right? There's the real world where people are whoever they are, and whatever is happening in their head at any time is happening. There's lowering, there's conflict, and there's a lot of stuff going on. Now there's the ideal world, the world we wish would exist, where there's a spot of your favorite food that's delicious in every corner and it's very cheap, and people are nice and empathetic, and they see how much of a wonderful person you are. That's the world we would like to live in. That's our ideal world. And then we have our understanding of the world, our map of the world as we understand it, right? So we're constantly contrasting the actual world with the world we would like, and generating something we call expectation. So when we have an expectation, 99% of the time, we have disappointment because there's stuff that we don't really consider, and maybe our understanding of the world isn't that great. So, and of course, with enough disappointment, we might become cynical or bitter. But let's talk about the cycle. So there's an expectation, which leads to a disappointment 99% of the time. And then that disappointment leads to emotional shock or pain because there's something in us that's saying, recalibrate. We didn't expect this. Why didn't? What happened? And then we find a guilty party. So we look for who's the guilty party here, whether it's us or the other person. And it doesn't matter who we blame, or who we find guilty. If it's us or the other person, we start accumulating negative emotions, whether it's anger or frustration or sadness or guilt. And we generate these negative emotions and build up in our bodies until they either, somaticize, they express themselves physically through some illness, or we get some pleasure and distract ourselves from them through like some substance, whether it's sugar or weed or alcohol, um, or we find some pleasure or comfort in a habit, not necessarily a substance. It could be a habit, like yelling at people, which maybe makes us feel powerful, or at least gives us some sense of control. Um, so we look for comfort, or we somaticize, and then the cycle repeats itself. We generate another expectation, and we're disappointed, and we're hurt, and then we find a guilty party, and we accumulate these negative emotions. And this is a very big cycle, specifically for addiction. And well, how do we stop this? Well, not having expectations, but it's much easier said than done. We have to really go inside and see